I'm Caven, and welcome back to Scaredy Cat Films. Here we are at the third installment of the Evil Dead series. All of the Evil Dead films are technically cult classics, but I think Army of Darkness falls a little more into the cult classic category. Army of Darkness is the black sheep of the trilogy, with it being a period piece set in medieval time, having more comedic and slapstick elements than the previous film, and for the simple fact that it doesn't even have Evil Dead in the title. I've known plenty of people who love Evil Dead 1 and 2, or at least love 2, and didn't even know there was a third Evil Dead movie, just because of the title. Sam Raimi's original idea for the title was Medieval Dead, which is brilliant. However, Universal refused and requested a name change, so that's how we got Army of Darkness. And this movie does have an Army of Darkness, so I guess it's not that bad of a title. I would just loved Medieval Dead though. It's such a good name. Regardless, the movie still kicks ass, and it's great. So let's just get into the breakdown. The film starts with a little bit of backstory for Ash. We knew he was a college student, but we also learned he worked at a place called S-Mart. We get a recap of the ending of Evil Dead 2, but slightly modified. Ash still goes through a time-traveling portal and lands in the Middle Ages with his Oldsmobile. But this time, instead of a flying deadite attacking and Ash killing it, Lord Arthur, who's there, accuses Ash of being a spy for Henry the Red, who Arthur and his men have captured. They take Ash prisoner with Henry and his men and bring him back to their castle. He's brought to a pit where they push a prisoner into it. A fountain of blood sprays out and Ash is forced into the pit next. There's something with Ash inside the pit. Would you be surprised if I said it was a deadite? Because of course it is. Ash struggles for a bit until an old wise man who believes Ash is the savior of their people throws him his chainsaw hand, which he uses to kill the deadite and get out of the pit. Everyone is amazed and he forces Arthur's men to release Henry and his men. He then takes authority of the situation. Ash is treated like a king by all the people, and the wise man lets him know he needs to get the Necronomicon to get sent back to his time. Sheila is also here. We met her earlier when Arthur brought Ash into the castle. She and Ash grow to like each other, especially after Ash kills this random deadite who just happens to be in the building. Ash decides to go on the quest to go find the Necronomicon, but first, with help from a blacksmith, he makes a new hand. The wise man tells him where to find the Necronomicon, and tells him that before he picks it up, he has to say certain words. Klaatu Brada Niktu, which I'm sure he will remember. Ash makes his journey and finds himself in a forest. The good old evil entity starts to chase after him and forces him to hide into an old windmill. Inside, he accidentally breaks a mirror that shatters into pieces. Each piece has a reflection of him that comes out and becomes a mini version of him. We get a silly sequence of the mini Ashes attacking the normal-sized Ash. One of the mini Ashes gets into his mouth and eventually into his stomach. Ash tries to drink boiling water to hurt it, but instead it fuses with him, causing him to grow a second head. The second head soon grows its own body, and we now have Good Ash and Bad Ash. Good Ash is the guy with a gun, so he shoots Bad Ash in the face and then buries him. A lot of people get buried in this series. Ash gets to the location of the Necronomicon, only to find out it's the location of the Necronomicons. There's actually 3 of them, and Ash has to find out which one is the real one. He does this pretty quickly, in a funny way. The problem is, he forgets the last word of the phrase he's supposed to say. He decides just to try to mumble his way through it, which, yeah, obviously doesn't work. This causes the dead to rise, so Ash grabs the book and tries to just get out of there. With all the dead rising, Bad Ash also rises and comes back. Bad Ash gets all the skeletons to join together as an army, some would even say an army of darkness, to go and attack Arthur's castle. Ash returns and gives the Necronomicon to the old wise man and tells him to send him home. He mentions he didn't say the words exactly correct, and everyone is disappointed in him. Sheila tries to talk him into staying and helping them, but he just wants to get back to his time. Sheila is then kidnapped by a flying deadite, which inspires Ash to stay and help the people against the Army of Darkness. He teaches them in a montage how to fight and make gunpowder using a chemistry book that was in the trunk of his car. They also turn the car into sort of a mini tank. The Army of Darkness arrives and reveals Sheila to be a deadite now. Arthur's men fight against the deadites and do pretty good, but they do start losing. Henry the Red's men show up to help since Ash was the one who had him released earlier in the film. Bad Ash gets close to the Necronomicon and has a fight with our Ash. Ash gets the upper hand and defeats Bad Ash, while Arthur and Henry's men defeat the Army of Darkness. Henry's men and Arthur's men unite, and with the evil defeated, the wise man gets ready to send Ash back to his time. He gives him a potion he has to drink and gives him more words he has to recite. We go to present time to find Ash working at S-Mart, telling the story of what just happened in the film to a co-worker. The co-worker is played by Ted Raimi, Sam Raimi's brother, who is excellent in the game The Quarry, which everyone should check out. He asks Ash if he said the words right this time, to which Ash replies,
Well, maybe I didn't say every single tiny little syllable, no, but basically I said them, yeah.
A woman who overheard the story tells Ash she thought it was cute and starts to talk to him when a deadite shows up in the store. Deadites really do be showing up out of nowhere. Also, I want to mention, I've heard people say they don't get how there's a deadite if he was able to stop the evil in the past. But I believe that's the point of the previous scene with him with Ted Raimi. To show that he didn't say the words right when drinking the potion, so the evil was never actually destroyed. Anyways, Ash grabs a gun and kills the deadite. He proclaims himself king and gets the girl. Now there's actually two endings to this film. This is the theatrical ending, however it's not the original ending. The original ending has Ash reciting the words and drinking the potion. He's told to only have 6 drops of the potion, but some rocks distract him so he takes 7. This causes him to oversleep and he wakes up with the world destroyed. The studio thought it was dark, so they decided to change it, which I like both endings. I think Army of Darkness is a really good bookend to the Evil Dead trilogy. It has some horror, some comedy, some adventure. I mean, it's well rounded. After this, the next movie in the series would be a reboot, directed by Fede Alvarez, just titled The Evil Dead. And with the remake, we do have a bunch of original people producing it. So Sam Raimi, the original director of all 3, producing, Bruce Campbell, who played Ash, and Robert Tepper, who produced all 3 original ones. So, you know. I've also mentioned how Starz has a series, Ash vs. the Evil Dead, and that show works as a straight continuation of the original trilogy. I highly recommend it. Next time we'll lose all the comedy and break down that remake, which is just a straight horror film. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more breakdowns in the future. If you have a movie or franchise you want me to break down, just go ahead and leave it in the comments so I can go ahead and see what you guys are wanting. And I hope everyone has a good day. See ya!